Okay, so if you like, we can pray together on this small booklet from the first page till seventh, or till the sixth, before the dedication, and then after we have when will be completion the talk, then we can continuously from the seventh page. So on the first page we can pray 3 times, only the one verse, then continuously, but on Tibetan language. Okay. kada nyambe yasemche dhamche dewa dan de judan demba semche dhamche semche dhamche dungar mebe dewa thamba semche dhamche nyera chada nyeda chare anyo chame yamche chongge Sanje Kunji Angoni Rasa Churko Ngozo Tonja Save Lama Namla So Ande Saje Puju Shuja Medon Ram Jira Limje Nyerde Jemba Sardi Jande Mede Poa Drogo Namda Janla Shumba Eda Rana Manda Kamdara Thaya Amo Semche Namje Samba Loi Chamtrul Cheju Temo Thamba Chunji Korlo Kordo Yesu Tamgi Duji Shachiri Sano Janjima Todi Honjamba Sergil Humbo Tavuji Shaki Jetpu Shabla Kusha Ansar Gumbol Durian Dewanda Tome Nyan Sholan Chujida Chujun Shahwa Wasilas Zamlin Gencho Namla Kusha Ansar Zamlan Zibijan Run Chonida Tujelon Tonyan Ben Tamaya Nandro Dambar Peter Juji Kondi Shurkur Dobel Honsin Time Wazar Savla Kusha Ansar Shivshagan Chindola Zidere Time Wazar Yamtra Tukteremzo Wasarlon Chenam Kinam Jur Jingme Limbi Savla Kusha Ansar Maria Sangin General Lasher Kundo Zambu Molam Nambraja Sibji Jarin Tunlin Zinza Mepam Jamsu Savla Kusha Ansar Pami Tuxi Durjib Dunjumni, Turbi Namra Lira Lampikar, Mantu Londarik Pi Harjib Jingme Pinso Sabla Kushan Sar Kamson Korwa Don Junum Jimbe Sabjelam Yon Den Tarchinba Nilu Rajar Tumbi Narjur Yechi Wamchu Sabla Kushan Sar Kunzandor Jimgara Shirazan Pemakara Jimban Yushunga Sozor Namnya Tirtun Jerchas Katir Lamayan Namla Kushan Sar Kandav Joju Dongunji Dina Deshal Humri Kirwa Kansata Tander Tumbi Shuji Shenbi Simbrando Badeda Tamchen Dershashi Namarya Tambal Haike dans le Danu Jinke Tum Dadami Kenam Dan Roa Kunji Jarkism Tamche Kete Shujan Tujurji Wana Nam Kadan Yambi Simshin Tamche Tobjalana Me Bayan Topper Tobi Sanjiji Kompanam Boje Toppercha Teacher the Tambi Chukanji Sani to Nyamsalar Jo Nyambi Goni Chusambe Kundu Shopi Landur Nam Manur Manchugadan Jibe Goni Lapper Sansar. Okay, again we can prayer on the page number second, the generation Bodhicitta on English 3 times only. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all sentient beings live in the great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and the other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all sentient beings live in the great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and the other distant. May all beings enjoy happiness and the causes of happiness. May all be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings never be apart from the supreme bliss which is free of all suffering. May all sentient beings live in great equanimity, free from the attachment and aversions that keep some close and the other distant. Okay, so firstly, I want to brief introduction to you about this class, how we going for the new who comes this first time. So this Bodhicitta Dharma Center class we keeping continuously since from around 2000 until now, going continuously, which means it's more than 16 years during. So during this means is every year we are going to keeping on 2 times the season, the teaching, which is the season spring teaching around April and May, 1.5 months. And then the second term season teaching on autumn season teaching around October and then November. This also can be 1.5 months. That is we going every year So this teaching, who joining and first time only once you need to register, and then please keep the membership, the card with you, because if you register once only and with this membership card, then that is can for future, forever, whenever, if you want to come continuously for next week, for next month, even if you come back to next year, then you can only freely join us always with this membership card. And then on the membership card also you can see there the sample, the website address. So therefore, if you want to know more detail about of this teacher, and if you want to know more of the schedules full of the year, you can see on this my website, on the membership card you can find, which means is I visit to many different countries every year. So therefore, if it's close to your place and your country, if you have time and if you want to join us, and then maybe that does help you. You found the information from this my website. And then anywhere in here, the Bodhicitta Dharma Center class, if you coming continuously weeks, month, and then is every week you can receive new topics, new subject each week, which means is this teaching Friday, the Monday to Friday, 5 days each week we going keeping this afternoon class, and Saturday, Sunday is no teaching the afternoon class. So this means is each week you have new topics. For example, in this week we are going to teaching, the topic is the Four Noble Truths, and the next week teaching for 5 days is Dream Yoga. So continuously we talking about Sutra and talking about of Tantra, because this class is actually, as you can see, that is Tibetan Buddhism Dharma class. So therefore the main topic is whenever something is related to the of Sutra and Tantra of Buddha's teachings, and then here we have very small tiny law, which means is you must be try to check yourself before you joining this class. You have enough to remaining continuously during this 1.5 hours, which means is sometimes some people just enter into class 15 minutes or 30 minutes around, and then they're going and coming and going and coming. That little bit inconvenience for everybody, a little bit disturbing for us. So therefore, please you check yourself. You have enough time to remaining continuously in 1.5 hours. And then anyway, when you decided to enter into this class, then please keep your place during these explanations. And then is after during these explanations, anybody, if you have any questions, any something not clear to understand or have any doubt, and then please to keep the notes, which means is after my explanations complete, then you have chance to question answers. So after the class you have for question answer for maybe around 20 or 30 minutes is for question answers. So only you can ask during the question times, okay? You cannot ask during the explanations. So I'm keeping continuously to be finished my explanations, and then we're going to the keeping the around 30 minutes question answers. That is every day. So that is, I think, in briefly introduced to you how going with this class. So anyway, this Dharma talk actually I think is important to understand for everybody, no matter you are traditional or non-traditionals followers, no matter you are Buddhism practitioners or non-Buddhism practitioners. But I think it's important for everybody to understand about this talk, because all the sentient beings completely same, everybody like us. They want to become happiness and enjoyment. Nobody want to experiencing of sufferings and unpleasant feelings. 100% sure, same like us, all the sentient beings. Because the reason sentient beings meant is the phenomena, things are phenomena with consciousness, or things with mind, that we say sentient being, we call a sentient being. If things with the consciousness, the definition of consciousness is clarity and awareness, we say. Clarity, awareness is as the definition or the characteristics of our mind or consciousness. So therefore, can clearly appears of pleasant object and unpleasant object of knowledge on the mind. But not only just arising on the mind the reflection of object of knowledge of phenomena, but they can to aware which is object of pleasant and which is object of unpleasant, which is the object of neutral, So therefore, they will be experiencing about pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, and they will be experiencing also neutral feelings, So therefore, if beings are with feeling, then 100%, but this logic, sure, same like us, they will be experienced pleasant feeling. Nobody want to experience unpleasant feelings. That is why we say all sentient beings are same wish like us. What we want to experience, they also want. What we doesn't want to experience, they also doesn't want. So in this way, now how you found the essence of the meaning of your life? What is the purpose of the essence of our life? Maybe just I ask, maybe everybody you have some different point answers, but the key point I can judge same. We're looking, researching about what? Happiness and enjoyment. That is sure, everybody. No matter what grant you keeping in the methods to find happiness, enjoyment there and here, and since after mother's birth until now, past 20 years, during past 30 years, day and night, we're searching, we're looking, we're thinking, we're doing something, but the main key point is happiness, searching to find happiness, enjoyment, and far away from the fear, panics, sufferings, unpleasant feelings, and obstacles. That is sure, Sam. So that is why we say all sentient beings we're talking, We're not talking only all my friend, all my people. That is a very, very limited compassion and love to thinking about only our friend or our people, But on top, we must need to thinking about all sentient beings. So in this way, maybe I have questions. How many numbers of the sentient beings, according to the Buddhist philosophy point of the view of sentient beings, cannot count number. Sentient beings can exist countlessly or numberless, existent, numberless, because the space is no end. So wherever is pervading endlessly the space, then could be the universe also is boundless. as long as existent boundless of the universe, and then could be sentient beings also, no matter, doesn't matter with a form or without form. But beings are existent numberlessly. So the numberless sentient beings, we can division into 6 kind of different types, which we say 6 realm beings. The numberless sentient beings can division into the of 6 realms, 6 realm beings, which is 3 unfortunate lower realm beings and 3 upper fortune realm beings. So these 6 realm, first 3, being who unfortunately falling reborn in the hell realms, that is we say hell realm beings. Being who unfortunately falling reborn in the hungry ghost realms, that is we say hungry ghost beings. Being who unfortunately reborn in the animal realms, that is animal beings. So these are the 3 of the 6 we say unfortunate 3 lower realm beings. Why we calling our unfortunate realm beings? Because those are the 3 unfortunate realm beings not reborn automatically and causelessly. Because those are the 3 unfortunate realm beings reborn, and that realms depend to their previous action, a previous karma, which means is the non-merits. The misdeed action is more, the accumulated misdeed action is more strong, and very, very less chance to accumulation merits. And therefore, finally, unfortunately, they are reborn unfortunate 3 lower realm. But not only just reborn unfortunate 3 lower realms, but with so many sufferings, they're experiencing many different kinds of sufferings. For example, being who unfortunately reborn the hell realms, and then there are main sufferings suffering with heat, suffering with cold, during hundreds of years, during thousands of years, sometimes takes even once duration of the once of lifetime, or the duration once of lifetime of hell beings can be sometimes kalpas, and over reborn. And being unfortunately reborn in hungry ghost realms, and then they are mainly suffering with hungry and thirsty, and during hundreds of years, and sometimes takes in thousands of years, and reborn again over and over, and difficult to liberation. And being who unfortunately reborn in the animal realms, that we can see, we can hear directly. Mainly they are suffering with mental stupidity, blindness mind, and suffering with eating each others, suffering with killing each others, suffering with used by the humans force, have no freedom themselves. So that's why we say unfortunate lower realm beings. These are the 3. And then the resting, the other 3 upper realm beings are human realm beings, semi-god realm beings, and God realm beings. These are the 3 why we say upper realm, why we calling as a fortune realm beings. Because same, again, they are also not automatically, not causelessly reborn in the higher fortune realm. Also depend to their previous accumulation of merits is very strong. Not only accumulated merits loads, but on top of merits they had enough the dedication, aspiration, prayer, reborn in the higher fortune realm. When they needed the causes and conditions, reborn higher realm completed, and then finally they are reborn in this higher fortune. Not only just reborn in the higher fortune realms, but just more opportunity to experiencing happiness, more long life, more healthy life, more welfare, more good harmonies, compare unfortunate three lower realm beings. That's why we say fortune realm beings or upper realm beings. Anyway, that 6 kind of different types of the beings, or we say 6 different kind of realm beings. So the countless sentient beings can division into of these 6 kind of different categories, or 6 types of different beings. So which is the most of precious one of these 6 realm beings? If you ask, according to the Buddhist view of the beings, the human realm beings, the human body is as the most precious one of these 6 realm beings, because human brain, human mind is more clever, more intelligent. But this precious human body not easy to obtain, because we need to accumulation lots merits, and lest we need to accumulation merits with morality contact, pure morality contact, our previous the past life. During the past life, at least once or twice of your life, you must be need to accumulation merits with morality contact or moral effective vows, to keeping, which means is avoiding 10 negative actions, and on top accumulation merits with 10 virtues, 10 supreme virtues. That is there is a more contact or morality contact. Not enough only reaccumulation of this morality contact, but on top of this contact, we need to dedicate aspiration prayer deeply from heart, that these virtues reborn higher fortune realm over and over. And the end, we can find these precious human birth harder to find, So that's why, even with thinking about the cause of a human birth, not easy to obtain these precious. But we are lucky, we are really fortunate person, because we have freedom, the suffering of hell realm beings, the obstacles of hungry ghost beings, and the obstacles, the problems of animal realms. At the moment, the temporary moments, we have freedom from the unfortunate low realm, the obstacles from unfortunate low realms. So we are lucky, we are really fortunate. We found hard to find this precious human birth, And this way now, this precious human body, how long belongs to us? We said this precious human body is more precious than the wish-fulfilling jewel. More difficult to obtain the wish-fulfilling jewel. More difficult to find than the wish-fulfilling jewel. The history of the wish-fulfilling jewel, we say, very difficult, because very rare to find. Very difficult to find. Very rare. Even if you found, but it's very difficult to recognize the precious of jewel is as pure. Even if you recognize, but it's hard to understand to fulfill of your wish. First you found, hard to find, and you recognize second, and third you understand how to use for fulfill your wish, and then says can fulfill of your temporary wish. That is we say wish fulfilling jewel. But the wish fulfilling jewel can fulfill your very temporary wish. But the precious human body is more precious than this, than that. Which means of course, more difficult to obtain this precious human body than the wish fulfilling jewel. More difficult to recognize precious birth is as precious birth of this human. And more difficult to understand how to use for fulfilling of your wish than the wish fulfilling jewel. First, we found hard to find of this precious human body. Top of hard we recognize, hard to recognize. And top of we understand how to use this precious human mind or the human body for fulfill your wish. Then can fulfill completely, can fulfill as your wish for benefit of this life, and not only but on top if you want to wish benefit to for future life also too. But not only can fulfill your wish of yourself alone, but on top you can be benefit, also can fulfill others' wish by yourself, by your this precious human body, the end. So that's why we say that's very precious. The human birth is the most precious one of these 6 realm beings, 6 kind of different realm beings. So we are lucky, we are really fortunate, you know. So and now I mentioned to you, this precious human body can with us forever, whenever, continuously. Then how you answer? That is not easy to answer. So when we will be separation about this precious human body, when will be lost this precious human body, nobody knows exactly. So why we say nobody knows when we will be lose this precious human body, which means when will be appears the death. Because death is not certainty. The death is certainty, but the time of the death with not certainty. So we never know when appears the death, you know. So that means is all this birth is also including by the compounded phenomena. This birth human body is not including to the uncompounded phenomena. So therefore it's a changeable object. This precious human birth is with changeable object. 100% sure, sooner or later, death will be existent after the of birth. That's very clear. Nobody wants to die, but nobody can stop the death. That is the nature of our birth. So therefore, when will be existent of the death suddenly one day, then what do you think? What you found the meaning of your life? What you found the essence of your life? What is the human value, you know? What you left in the moments of death? What you have, you know? Maybe we have accumulated lots of the external materiality civilizations, which is the welfares, economies, the materiality on the monies or so forth. Maybe, probably. And maybe you have many friends. Maybe you have beautiful country. Maybe you have very nice, beautiful, the human, this physical body. But no matter, however, when there appears death, that times, that's the end of this enjoyment of this object. So we cannot carry in one cons to the next rebirth during the death, not possible. We cannot bring, or nobody can follow us during the death. Even our physical body, day and night, during past 20 years, 40 years, 60 years, we responsibility to take care about this. But during the death, that times, even our physical body must be left behind. It's very clear. So therefore, what is the end of your life? What is the end of meaning of your life? That is, what is the essence, the end? So what do you think? So normally, sometimes people are thinking about how important eating, sleeping, and toilet, for example. Sometimes people are thinking that is the meaning of our life. That is the essence of our life. That is a human value. But not. Actually, that is not true. Only this precious human body, if you use to the eating, sleeping, and toilet only, that is not so much difference than the animals. Even animals, we can say mental stupidity, blindness, mind. But still, they also can live with eating, sleeping, and toilet. So that is not the meaning of our life, But still, of course, we need to eat and sleeping. Of course, after you eating, sure, you need toilet, That's there no question. But that is not the essence of our life, But that is just the temporary condition to take care of this physical body. So, but we can do more meaningful than that. Everybody can do, it's more meaningful, more the essence you can find than this, can do. So therefore, now what is the most of important meaning? What is the more of the precious meaning than that? We need to find happiness, enjoyment, that is. But the happiness, enjoyment, again, we need to understand the temporary happiness and ultimate happiness. It's not enough only we have experienced of temporary happiness, because temporary happiness is related to the of changeable of suffering of change. The temporary moment happiness always directly related to the of suffering of change. So therefore, we must be thinking, we must be responsibility to achievement state of ultimate peace and ultimate enjoyment. That's more important. So in this case, how we can find the path of ultimate peace and ultimate enjoyment? How can we will be achievement state of ultimate peace? So in this way, among these human realm beings, the beings of this human realm, we say intelligent, very precious, very clever, but still not good enough to understand which is the necessary engagement object for benefit of yourself and others. Still not enough understand necessary abandonment object for harming yourself and for harming to others. Because since after mother's birth until now, 99% is we looking something is towards to the outer, external materiality, and we thinking about development stage, the civilization of materiality, means the external, the materiality. That is our aim, ordinary people's view. Always focus on the developing stage of the materiality, the external materiality, which is the five sense pleasures object. Always be chasing, to the of development stage of the five sense pleasures object, which is pleasures object of sound, smell, taste, contact, and tactile sensation, so forth. Of course, we need the external, the pleasures object, because depend to our five faculties. This human body with five faculties, but not that is the only the cause and conditions for fulfill your wish. the external development stage possessions can maybe make us happy and temporary moments, and the tiny or the contaminated enjoyment, but they cannot bring us the ultimate peace and the ultimate enjoyment, not. So therefore, very, very important, we need to know how to develop the mentality civilizations, mental spiritual qualities. We need to find inner peace from our heart, one's own heart. To find the inner peace from one's own heart. If somebody you want to achieve mental state ultimate peace, and you want to achieve mental state ultimate enjoyment, then you don't thinking the causes and conditions comes from outside. That's not possible. If you really want to realization the truth happiness and truth enjoyment, then you must be found the truth cause and truth conditions of your wish, which is from your heart, comes from one's own heart. Because our heart or our mind is as the root of both suffering, experiencing of suffering, and the experiencing of happiness. Because if you focus your mind day and night, the afflictive emotion, your mind is with others, if the disturbing emotion mind, then will be performing, the negative emotion mind will be bring the result of suffering and unpleasant feelings. If you can cultivating your mind on the positive emotion, and then as it will be, performing, you will be experiencing by this positive emotion mind, happiness, ultimate happiness and ultimate enjoyment is coming. So very important to know how focus on the positive emotion, and very important to know how to avoid negative emotions, because negative emotion is as the actual causes of the negative action, which is killing, stealing, sexual misconduct are the three negative actions comes from our body. Lying, slander, harmful speech, and adult gossip. These four negative actions comes from mainly the door of our speech. And covetousness, harmful thought, and holding wrong views. These are the three negative actions mainly comes from door of our heart. So we have three doors. The negative action comes from three doors. Door of body, door of speech, and door of heart, performing the negative actions, 10. Actually, of course, the classify of the action negative, we cannot count aspect, how many difference, but in briefly, we can division into the 10 different kind negative actions. But why we have with this accumulating about 10 negative actions? Because as long as we have with this very strong disturbing emotion mind, then we cannot stop the negative actions. The negative action is composed or performed by our negative emotion. So therefore, we are suffering over and over. We have many obstacles, many problems, many worries, many panics, experiencing many different kind of panics, many different kind of suffering, sorrow, because karma, negative action. So therefore, if somebody want to freedom from the obstacles, sufferings, panics, worries, and particularly modern times, we have the depression, the depression, the problems, very much. That means the worry about round Many things what we want we couldn't get. Around us many things we want to separate but we couldn't. Then coming the worry, then panic, then uncomfortable feeling, and then pressure, as the feeling or the depression, the mental sick, mental ill is coming problem. This all is related from negative emotion. That is why it is disturbing emotion mind. Because disturbing for us, oneself and others, negative emotion is at the root of negative action. Negative action is as the direct cause of suffering. So therefore, if you agree freedom, we want freedom from suffering, then we must be try less and less. Will be less and less the negative actions. If you want to become more happy, more enjoy, and more peaceful, then we must be try to cultivating on the positive actions, which is the 10 virtues, the opposite of 10 negative actions. Important. But the 10 virtues also as a relation related from the positive emotion, the negative, the opposite of negative. Negative means is like desire, attachment, anger or aversion, ignorance or confusing mind. That are the three, we said 3 poisons. Negative emotion of 3 poisons. We say like poison, poisoning food. If you eat, no matter in the moments is a good taste or not, but after later then will be sick. The poisoning food, Similarly, something if you're wrong, the motivation with negative emotion, then no matter in the moment you are happy or not, but sooner or later will be performing the sufferings, unpleasant feelings and the panics, so on. So therefore, we must be try as much can cultivating on the positive emotion, because that will be bring positive actions. That will be bring and the happiness, the result of will be experiencing of happiness and enjoyment. So in this way now, what is the positive emotion? In briefly, we can say wisdom and compassion. That is the essence of the positive emotion. We need cultivating on the compassion emotion with compassion, emotion on the loving kindness, emotion with of the tolerance, patience, wisdom and pure motivation. If you can cultivating your mind on the pure motivation, that means is you're projecting or achieving motive. The motivation is as pure, and then 100% sure sooner or later you will be experienced the projected result is happiness and enjoyment. And 100% sure sooner or later you will be experiencing achieved result about of the happiness, enjoyment, achieved result is coming, because your achieving motivation is pure. Your projecting motivation is pure. Therefore, projected or achieved result will be experienced happiness, enjoyment is coming on this life, on future life. That is, we say, natural law of cause and effect. Why? Even in the human realm, we say intelligent, very clever human beings, but still not same everybody, not equal. Everybody, the experience is not equal. Some have less chance, happiness, enjoyment to experience, and some have more chance to experience happiness, and some is almost full, he or her life is suffering and obstacles. Why difference? Because wish is same. Everybody's wish, I mentioned you, same. But why different experiencing? Because depend to the right cause and the wrong cause, and depend to the right conditions, favorable conditions, and depend to the unfavorable conditions. That is, we say, natural law of cause and effect. So this natural law is not comes from the countries only. That natural law is not only comes from of the religious. That natural law is not only producing from traditions, not. That's why I'm saying very beginning mentioned to you, no matter you are traditional or non-traditionals, no matter you are Buddhist religious followers or non-Buddhism followers, because important to understand the reality, the nature of law of cause and effect. Every phenomena, object of knowledge appears in front of us. 100% sure if you are logicians, then you can understand. Depend to the cause and conditions. Without cause, without conditions, cannot be existent even one single atom. One single particles cannot be existent causelessly and automatically, not possible. If you are logicians, if you judge, if you research the nature of phenomena. So that is why in Tibetan Buddhism tradition, philosophy, where we can say all the compounded phenomena are originated by the interdependently. Cannot be existent independently, even one single atom, which means is a happiness, enjoyment also dependently, interdependently performed, but not independently. Likewise, the suffering, unpleasant feeling also is performed by the interdependently, but not independently, not possible. So therefore, you can recognize directly or not, but however, something if you experienced in today, in this week, in this month, in this year, and on this life, either as the happy or unhappy, but both are comes from depend to your previous action or the cause and conditions depend to that. That's why Buddha Shakyamuni, he taught us, karma not accumulated will not be experienced. If karma committed will not be disappeared, he says. Le ma jiba na mantat, jiba na chudmazawao, he says. That means is karma means is actually Sanskrit language, but is it literally on Tibetan is le. Le is on English is action. So, So that means is if action not accumulated any kind of actions and then will not be experienced automatically and causelessly, both of suffering and happiness, not possible. Somebody, if you go in experiencing of happiness or suffering, that is the sign. That means is you had already accumulated positive or negative actions. Then if karma committed already means is you have accumulated or positive or negative, no matter as action already you committed, then sooner or later 100% sure will be experiencing about the result. Maybe in this today you will be experiencing after your accumulation of the actions. Maybe next week will be experiencing. Maybe it's next month will be experiencing. Maybe you will be experiencing the result in next year. Maybe the end of your life. And some is the maybe is in the immediate next rebirth, so forth. The maybe means is because there's 4 possibilities to experience of karma. Karma whose fruits will be experienced in this life. This is the one possibility after accumulated. And the second possibility is karma whose fruits will be experienced in another, means it's just immediate next rebirth. The third possibility is karma whose fruits will be experienced in another circumstant lifetimes. That is the third possibility. The fourth possibilities will not be experienced certainly after accumulated karma. That does not mean it's wasting,
Does not mean it's waste, the after accumulation, the actions. But if you found the antidote, can destroy, can change, can purify, can cleanse negative karma or the misdeed action, you can purifications. You can do purify, you can cleanse, The positive karma also can destroy, unfortunately, if you doesn't know how to protect your positive action. So therefore, the third possibility is not certainty, cannot experience certainly, because depend the antidote. So anyway, therefore, important, we need to understand the natural law of cause and effect, to check, to judge. So therefore, if no matter you believe or not, but natural law, you cannot beyond of the natural law. Somebody can beyond of natural law. Somebody can run away from natural law. Then that is not nature. Nature cannot change. Like fire. What is the nature of fire? Heat and burning and heating. That is the nature definition of fire. So no matter you believe or not, but when you touch to the fire, and then you can experience it. It's true, that is burning, as a heat. Similarly, and the natural law of cause and effect is no matter you believe or not, you trust or not at moments, but after you accumulated positive action and after you accumulated negative actions, and sooner or later will be coming experiencing of happiness and sufferings. That is the natural law of cause and effect. But still, this natural law of cause and effect can be generally close to the of country's law. Any difference of religious, the tradition's law, not so much difference what we're talking now, actually. Like 10 negative action is 90% is each traditions they recognize that as negative. Like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, slanders. This all is not only traditions, but even I can say 99% sure each country's law. If you go in at the 10 negative actions, they are here, that's illegal, actions from country. If you actions cultivating on the 10 supreme virtues action, the opposite of 10 negative actions, then I'm sure 99% is no matter which traditions of these worlds, they recognize that is positive action. I can say also sure 99% sure each country's law, the legal law is sure if you positive actions, then is there no problem for you any. 99% is sure have no problem if you cultivating your body, speech, heart is on the focus on the positive actions. But the opposite, 99% sure if you focus on 10 negative action there and here, and then is you have problem, even illegal of countries. So this means is almost everybody have recognized naturally. They understand what is positive action, what is negative action, why we say positive, why we say negative. Because they depend to the result, will be experiencing or the result is suffering, then that means is the cause condition is negative. Will be experiencing as a happiness, enjoyment result, that means is the cause and the conditions, that cause condition is as the negative and positive, depend the result. So therefore it's important to judge, to check the natural law of cause and effect. So however, these detailment explanations actually comes from very much from the Tibetan philosophy teachings. Actually, Buddhism teaching, we can division into 3 different categories. We say the religious of Buddhism. We can say the philosophy of Buddhism philosophy. We can say the science of Buddhism, or mind science of Buddhism. So therefore, if you to practice or to learn about the philosophy and mind science of Buddhism, that is everything's the explanations, the reality, the truth, What is the truth, that to speak. So that is we say Dharma talk. Dharma talk. Dharma talk is not only comes from traditional. Dharma talk is not only from religious, the Tibetan Dharma, the Buddhism Dharma talk is not. Because you can judge, you can check, you can research if you are logicians, if you are learned, You can debate even to the Buddha, even to your master, your teacher, you can debate if they have with some doubt, if something not you feel not true, something if you feel that's not logical, if you feel that's not reasonable, and then unreasonable, then you can debate, make clear to understand, So because why you can debate, why you can judge, you can research, because that means is both of teachers and disciples, they discuss about what is the truth, what is the reality. So we have the right of to find the reality. Everybody you have the rights. We say human right, but sentient beings' rights is to find the reality. Each sentient being have the rights to find the reality, to understand the truth. So therefore, Dharma talk is a truth, actually. That's why you have chance to debate, That's you can ask, That's you can doubt. First, you can addressing doubt, If you cannot judge, if you cannot check, you cannot research, only respect with your faith, then you cannot judge, Say something, then you must be say, yes, sir, But that is not logic, So, therefore, that is we say Dharma talk, So this class also is usually, we're talking many different way, but the main point is about the reality. We're talking about the truth of conventional and the truth of ultimate. The ultimate truth, we're talking about of the conventional truth, these two truths. So many different kind of aspects of truth, but can be division into these two. Conventional truth about of ultimate truth. If you understand the reality of this true truth, that means is you have enough understand which is a necessary abandonment object and which is a necessary engagement of object. As long as you yet not found the reality, the truth, that means you have with ignorance. Your mind stay with ignorance or confused. As long as we have ignorant, that we say misconception mind or misunderstanding mind. If your action you rely on your misconception, and by this performing misconception mind performing, the result is also misdeed action is coming. If you accumulation misdeed action, and sooner or later suffering is coming, that is a problem. So now we understand being achievement, happiness, enjoyment, we need to collect a positive action, we need to avoid negative action. But how can we collection positive and how we could stop the negative actions? We need to focus on your positive emotion, and you must be try to avoid or less or negative emotion. But how can we stop negative emotion? That's not easy actually, because since from beginning last time we have habituated very much about negative emotions. So our habitual basic tendencies of our previous misdeed actions and negative emotions very strong. So that's why not easy to stop. But sooner or later you can separate. You will be stopped. You can stop one day the disturbing emotion mind when you found the right antidote. So what is the right antidote? The wisdom mind, to understand the reality. Follow the better perfect logic to understand, follow after the perfect reasoning, and you need to use your excellent investigations and analyticals to understand. So the understand is as the point meaning wisdom. Wisdom is as the meaning of understanding, the truth, understand, the object of truth, wisdom. So wisdom mind is the opposite of ignorance. So that is why I say emotion. One is wisdom, one is compassion. That is two is the essence of our talk, our subject. No matter what kind we talk, sutra, tantra, high school or sub-school, but the essence is the wisdom, two-fold wisdom and two-fold compassion. So the wisdom, compassion comes from one's own heart, but the wisdom, compassion not comes from outer external materialities, but could be sometimes the conditions for performing the wisdom and compassion, but the actual cause is not from outside, it's from inside of our heart, the wisdom and compassion we say. So therefore, now and just a moment, a little bit and briefly, if you are someone is very today is new to joining up about this kind of class, and then maybe who is the teacher about this philosophy, according to the of Buddhism, a Dharma talk, and then we say Shakyamuni Buddha. Shakyamuni Buddha, Shakyamuni is as the teacher, the first teacher of this talk, comes from. But now as who is Buddha? Shakyamuni. Actually, Buddha means is very beginning was he is ordinary, same like us, no difference. That means is everybody have the potential, energy to achievement state, same quality of Buddha. Everybody, no matter Western, Eastern, man and woman, young or old, or even no matter human or non-human, means is animals, even small insect. Sense small, the nature of sense of small insect, nature mind, and tale of the highest, the spiritual, supreme beings, Arya beings, noble beings. Nature is same quality. There's no difference. That is we said Tathagatangarba or Sukatangarba, Sanskrit language we say. It's Buddha nature we say. Pervading equally to the all sentient beings mind by the Buddha nature. It is clarity, awareness. Essence, wisdom is as essence of clarity, awareness, and compassion is essence of the wisdom. That is the nature. But unfortunately, circumstantially appearances of the obstacles of the delusion, the obscuration of delusion, obscuration of karma, obscured to the nature mind and the moments. So therefore important we know how to cleanse of this nature mind. If you know the solution how to find the reality, and then that is start to separation from the ordinary and extraordinary beings. That I'm saying very sense beginning Buddha was, Shakyamuni was same like us, very ordinary person, very beginning. But when he met first is a very holy spiritual teacher is Shakyamuni Buddha. The Shakyamuni Buddha was ordinary. He first met him, and then it's very beginning he cultivated mind of enlightenment, which means generated bodhicitta mind, which is first very strong compassion, love, arising deeply from his heart to benefit equally all sentient beings he want. So therefore he want to achievement state, ultimately the enlightenment mind, which is the omniscient mind. That is bodhicitta mind, very beginning. Then he accumulated more than during 3 numberless eons, or 3 numberless kalpas, lifetimes, over and over and over and over with hardships. He accumulated merits, the better compassion, and he accumulated wisdom, better of wisdom. And finally, Buddha he become completely enlightenment mind. He achieved state of omniscience, all-knowing knowledge mind, omniscient mind. That means is finally he freedom completely from obscuration or delusions. Completely he freedom from obscuration up to the omniscient. That means is only he achievement state of the reality. He only experienced, finally is left the nature of mind, the Buddha nature. Wisdom and compassion, the primordial wisdom and the essence of the spontaneous of the compassion, of the essence of spontaneity of compassion. That is the point Buddha means. Full compassion, full wisdom. So, and then Buddha Shakyamuni Buddha, he start to training well of Dharma. Dharma talk is coming for benefit other sentient beings only. So, he taught us more than 84,000 collection training well of Dharma, we say. It's very, very big, actually, these teachings. 84,000 collection training well of Dharmas. But why he speak about so many different kind of this aspect, more than 84,000 collection training well of Dharma? Because depend to the of followers, karmic connections different. Followers' capabilities, capacity is different. Followers' faculties different. Followers is a different. Followers' situation is different. Followers, the emotion is different. So therefore, he needs to teach different kind aspect. So, including maybe, as we can say, division into more than 84,000 collection different kind of emotions or different karma, different capacities. So therefore, the antidote teaching also more than 84,000 different kind of collection training about Dharma. But the key point is for three poisons, antidote to the three poisons: attachment of desire, the poisons of anger or aversionment, the poisons of the ignorance or the delusion. That's three. His teachings, actually the point, So, in this way, somebody, if you want to practice, is good, a little bit more listening. Somebody, if you're not really going to practice, but if you want to something understand and stay good to listen. And somebody, you want to research about what is Buddhism. Somebody want to research what is Dharma. And stay good for a few days and few weeks. Just listen, comes here, and you're the precious time. You're the, it's important, you're the time, precious of your time, the precious of your money, precious of your life. It comes here, is it weeks, a month, and keep little bit the short session, 1 hour, 2 hours a day, and listen. Probably, if you are new, maybe you can big change, means it's a good change. It does not mean it's bad change, I think, because that my one's own experienced since, after 20 years, I talk lots, but I'm not practice very much, only talk. But even no matter, I'm not very practitioner, but my talk is actually a little bit logical, because I'm the messenger of my great masters and those of the, the logicians, the teachings. So therefore, is not, I think, is 90% is sure, 99% is sure what I'm talking is logicians, logical. So therefore, you can find some good things to understand. That means, that not means what I'm talking, everything's I'm like these practitioners, not that. If I'm that, then I'm Buddha, but I'm not really Buddha, So therefore, but my talk is probably maybe helpful, because I saw, in my experience, I'm saying, during 20 years I talk, but 99% is who comes, joins my class or my teaching, even as my means is that not means only one teacher here, but it's I'm talking on my experience, 99% is I was sure is helpful. That I'm not talking from Tibetans. I'm not talking only to of the traditionals, but I roamed on the world. They are here. It's a new place. New people I met. But 99% is I feel they are interested very much. They have changed. So many. The life is the fun, the inner peace. So that is, I think, the sign is good, for everybody. So keep your red time, and the moments, and then the 2 hours every day, and then it's extra. That's day you have 22 hours, so you can run there and here, looking and talking and so forth, So that is maybe. So, however, today I'm not talking the actual topic in this week. All main topic is Four Noble Truth. Okay, don't worry. We coming will be talk tomorrow. As tell the 4 days is that all of these 4 days, coming 4 days, is only talking Four Noble Truth. Today I'm just generally, introduce to you about this class and about of what is this lecture, for what benefit, what purpose, what is the aim, what is good, for everybody. That is just, and generally, if someone is new, then it's just let me give you the outlines to understand what we going this, why we keeping this class, So, and then we detailment and step will be talk tomorrow, the actual topic of the Four Noble Truth. So anyway, first to understand, to recognize the precious human birth, difficult to obtain. And the second on top is understand the impermanence of this life. And the third is important to understand the natural law of cause and effect. And the fourth is important to understand, distinguish clearly about suffering and happiness, the ultimate happiness. What is samsara? What is nirvana? This is Sanskrit language actually. Samsara means is the suffering. And nirvana means is as peace. Buddha says nirvana is as peace. Samsara is as suffering. So that is finally we understand samsara means is suffering. Nirvana means is peace. So everybody want to become peace. Nobody want to experience suffering. So therefore, understand and bravely list to understand both peace and sufferings comes from cause and conditions. Without cause, without conditions, independently or causelessly, automatically, no possible, 100% sure, no possible. The experiencing of peace and the experiencing of suffering, no possible, causelessly, automatically. So therefore, if true, the both of happiness and peace, the sufferings comes from to the cause conditions, then we need to research what is right cause, what is wrong cause. We want happy, we doesn't want to experience suffering. So we need to distinguish clearly which is the actual cause and condition for happiness, which is the actual cause and condition for suffering. First, we need to understand. That is wisdom, wisdom man. So in the Shandandeva, and the Indian very scholar master, he wrote one very famous text, the Bodhicharya Avatara text. This is one verse I just quote. One verse, Dungan Dundu Semda Dungun Gilangambarju, Devando, Timu Pirang Deva Dartan Jum. One verse with 4 lines, I quote. This means is everybody have wish to avoid sufferings, but they are chasing to the cause of suffering. Everybody want to wish to achieve happiness, but unfortunately destroy the root of suffering from themselves, like enemy. Enemy like to destroy the root of happiness from themselves. But why? Because our wish is become happy enjoyment. Our wish is freedom from suffering. Then why are you chasing to the cause of suffering? Then why you destroy yourself, destroy to that of your cause of the happiness? How you answer? Because answer is because I am misunderstanding. Because I have ignorant. That's the problem, finally. So therefore, now we need to understand better wisdom. So now, how we understand? So keep this class. Okay, that is so. Anyway, so that is today. So anybody, if you have any questions, so we go in a little bit now. Is there on the question and answers?
Let me try to see if I can ask a question. So you were talking about cause and effect, and you were mentioning that if we research, we do an inner research to see the results and the causes, we know what is the root of the suffering. But how is it that sometimes we are not so sure, or I say about myself, to detect what even started it? Because many conditions are causing each other. So it's even hard to say when it started, the point of ignorance or attachment or anything that causes suffering.
It's true. It's sometimes very complicated to understand all detailment or each different kind of aspect of the cause conditions of the result. But that is not very important to understand very detailment where each different aspect. But important things, main point, for example, when you eating the poisoning food, then later after eating the poisoning food, then you will get sick, ill. So therefore we need to research why I'm sick, why I'm ill. Then finally you understand, oh, that was wrong food. It's poisoning, right? So that kind is not very complicated to understand. But then if you go further, this poisoning comes from where? What is the quality? What is the different, the things? And then it's complicated. Even medical doctors still difficult to explain all these determinants, But it's enough to understand is not eat poisoning food, Enough understand which is poisoning, what is pure food. Then because you are sick, for example. So therefore, some of detailment is not easy to understand. But of course, does not mean it will never understand all the detailment, but one day. But one day means when you understand all the aspect of detailment of cause and effect, that means is omniscience, omniscient mind. That means when you will be achievement Buddhahood, then you understand all the of completely, the cause and effect. But we have not yet achievement this omniscience. So that is why we need to also take refuge on the of omniscience mind, Buddha jewel. That means we need to rely on the authentic teacher and the moments. As long as you have not enough understanding clearly, that is the sign we still necessarily rely on the authentic teacher, which is like omniscience Buddhas or qualified teachers or scholar or learned masters or something you need, But when you will be yourself understand clearly without any doubt all the of determined cause and effect, that time you are become object of the refuge. You no need to rely continuously on the object of refuge because you understand clearly everything's. Your mind is become wisdom, Of course, when you understand that times, naturally you feel compassion is there together. So as long as yet not this quality achievement, then true, it's not easy to understand, but still it can step progress to understand, So therefore we listen more, learning more, studying more, but not in only listening, learning, because we need to wisdom collection. There's divisions into the three different means is hearing wisdom, contemplation wisdom, and meditation wisdom. So first, we must be listening the perfect teaching from the authentic teacher. First, listen carefully and clearly to understand. Just listening, that's the hearing wisdom. And then not enough only you listen, but then on top you need to collect the wisdom of contemplation or the reflection of the world, the wisdom of reflection of world, or we can say contemplation wisdom. Means is the deeper meaning, the hidden phenomena, because the object of knowledge is not everything direct perception for us. The object of knowledge can division into three different categories. Direct, the perception object, and indirect perception object. The indirect object, again, we can division into two different categories. One is hidden phenomena. One is a very hidden phenomena. So these last two, the first one, the direct object, you can judge, you can check easily, just hearing wisdom. Then you can use your five sense faculties. One's own five sense pure faculties can see directly, oh, true, what he says. Directly you can search by ear faculties, oh, what he says true, the sound. Oh, what he says true, the smell. Oh, what he says true, that is sweet. You can testing. Oh, that's true, what he says small, for example. That is the just direct physical object, direct phenomena, the object you can judge by your five faculties. But still we need to use pure faculties. Okay, it's wrong faculties, because your eye faculties become the yellow dizzy. You have, then is the teacher says snow mountain is white color. When you go to look directly, is what he says true or not? But you say, no, that's not true. He says it's white, but snow mountain is yellow. But that's not teacher's problem. But that is your faculty's problem. You have disease, So therefore you need to take medicine, and then after you complete the covered this disease, then you found what teacher says, oh, true, now it's a white, it's no mountain, So anyway, the direct object phenomena you can judge better your direct faculties. But still that's not enough. Exactly what we're talking now. The hidden phenomena is beyond of our direct perceptions. So we need to follow the judge, logic, follow the valid cognition. For example, fire and smoke. Smoke arising from fire. If there's no fire, then no smoke. Cannot arising straightly, cannot arising in the moment if there's no burning something. If there's arising straightly, strongly arising smoke, and that means there's fire. If there's burning something fire, and then sure there's smoke is arising. So this is now, because this is the relationship between cause and the effect, the smoke and the fire, they have related. So if means it's 100% sure there's fire if arising smoke. If there's burning something, 100% sure there's smoke. That is the connection of the result of smoke and the cause of fire. That first we understand clearly. So now, at the night time, smoke is hidden phenomena for you. And the night, darkness, totally darkness night, and the forest or something on the far, then you can't see the smoke arising there. It's that moment is hidden for you. This object has become hidden phenomena. But does not mean completely hid us, because you can judge now valid cognitive. So what is the valid cognition? The result. Fire is a net. It's very easy. Even small tiny spark, very big light you can see in the net. Even small insect, the lead bed you can see very strong. So therefore, if on the forest you can see that there's this fire very strongly, then you can guarantee 100% sure there's smoke arising. There's no need doubt, right? That is a hidden phenomena of a smoke in the night. How can you judge by the direct object of fire? And then the opposite at the daytime. It's a hidden for us at the beyond of the mountain. There's fire or not, or the deep forest. There's fire is something or not. You can't see directly your eye faculties, even the day, because the very thick the forest is very deep, or is beyond of the mountain, something behind of the mountain, so you can't see. But smoke can arising in the sky, so therefore in the forest arising smoke, then 100% sure you can guarantee, you can judge there's fire. So at the daytime on the big forest, at the moment is the small tiny fire is hidden for you, hidden phenomena. But you can judge follow the direct phenomena of smoke. So like this way, you can judge natural law of cause and effect, the hidden phenomena. So, and then very hidden phenomena, not like that simple. What we're talking now, why we are born in this realm, human realm, why we not wasn't born in the hell realm, you know. But we can say, oh, that's because I mentioned you today and briefly say virtues. But when we accumulated was the virtues, you know, how big, how small, then it's complicated for us, really. But does not mean ours, that is nobody knows. It's omniscience meant when you freedom, completely obscuration of course, karma, but delusion, but even then, finally you have completely freedom from obscuration of omniscient. Then the omniscience mind can understand clearly even tiny, you know, the cause conditions, the aspect of tiny cause conditions, and as a wind was, you know. So therefore now maybe still you have, how can I trust, you know, to these omniscience persons what talk? So therefore, for example, Buddha Shakyamuni, now we go to, we say, Buddha Shakyamuni, you can trust to the Buddha, we say. But that is not very logical. In the moment I'm saying this, then every tradition says, oh, you can trust my God. You can trust my creator of the universe, right? So I'm Buddhism tradition, I can say you can trust Shakyamuni Buddha. The non-Buddhism tradition, they can say you can trust their teacher, you know. But that is not logic. So now how can you trust? That is coming, you know. So now you can judge, you can research, you can debate, you can question, you can answer. For example, you know, somebody say you believe creator of a universe. Then you say, you ask how created was, you know, for example, you know. Something like this, then clear and clear and clear, which is true, which is not true, you found the reality is coming. So therefore, for example, Shakyamuni, how we judge Buddha's teaching is true or not. Shakyamuni passed away no more than 600, the 2,600 years gone already. But his talk, Dharma talk, the teaching, the Dharma text still, we have more than 108 big volumes. 108 volumes, very big, very deep. Each the text maybe more than around 600 or 700 pages, the big text Tibetan. This kind of 108 is lots, yeah. But the topic is, of course, is very deep, very extensive, very vast, very profound. So you can judge if you have power. I mean, you know, to judge like this big Dharma text. If you found something logically and reasonably some contradictions of Buddha's this topic, then that is a sign Buddha is not omniscient. We cannot accept he is omniscient because you found some mistake. He is a scholar, he is learned, but not completely omniscient because we found some mistake, right? But in case if you couldn't find any faults and any wrong, any explanations, any contradictories about his true truth of phenomena of conventional truth and phenomena of ultimate truth, both, since 2,600 years till now, if you follow his teachings, if you couldn't find any faults, and then you should be trust what he says. That is why Buddha himself, he said, one verse I quote was Buddha's teaching. So this means is not follow Buddha's teachings only respectfully and blend under the blend faith. Follow his teachings, just judge, check, research to find truth, and then is trusting faith is coming. Trusting. So he gave an example. Don't trust to the seller what says, selling the gold. Because 100% sure if he is normal seller, then if you ask your gold is pure or not, what do you get answer? Sure says pure. Because he is a seller. He says fake, then who can buy the fake gold? You know. So therefore, how can you believe what he says? The seller says his gold is pure. 100% sure it's pure. You go to in the market in India, you ask it, everybody says, oh, I guarantee, no problem, it's pure something, isn't it? But sometimes true, sometimes not. Isn't it? So similar, seller says it's pure, his gold. But the buyer, now you want to find the pure gold, right? So therefore, Buddha says there's enough three ways to research, to judge, to testing the pure gold. Because easy you find the faults. Because maybe golden, only golden color, they say gold. Just rub on the stone or rock a few times. Can see the fake. That is like direct object, like the snow mountain is yellow. Then you look, oh no, that's not yellow. It's easy, right? You found the faults. What the teacher says is wrong, easy. But the gold is not, even you rub, but it's not gone, the color still is gold. But Buddha says that is not final. The second option, testing. Because make pieces, chopped. Maybe inside there's some stone or the piece of coupled inside in the gold. Maybe you make many chopped pieces, small, like sand, like make, destroy. Then you found inside some fake. That's the second option, the hidden phenomena. But it's not very hidden phenomena, but follow the logic, it's chopped. But even you couldn't find any piece of fake there, still that is not the final, Buddha says. The last one, how you testing, last one, excuse me, to burning the gold, melt by the fire. If melt by the fire, then if something mixture fix and then can separate, that's the nature, normally. Gold is separate. If after melting and cannot be together, mix, it's separation. So that's the last option, very hidden phenomena. So the object of knowledge, Buddha's teachings like this, direct object, indirect object, hidden phenomena. So first is rub, second is cut, third is melt, and then is pure. That's 100% sure, there's no need doubt. If you doubt, that is your stupid. Okay? Then you never found the red pure gold. After these three options, still if you doubt, then you cannot find the pure gold. You can trust. But do not trust only just rock, on the rock, or say, oh, it's still pure. Not, maybe true, maybe not. Still, So therefore, if you go to, that means if you go to each teachers of different traditions, you ask, your teaching is good or not? What do you think the answer? Says, same like a seller. Say, good, my teaching is good, okay? Don't worry, good, pure, something say. Maybe true, maybe not, right? So therefore, now you need to start yourself. Judge, check. You need to use your investigation analytic course. The time is on now. Because answer is, he says, is pure, right? But that is not enough. So, therefore, now what they says, each teacher says true, but it's true or not, you need to judge yourself. So then, listening more, learning more, studying more, research more, they follow the red logic, of course, red reasoning. If yourself you falling under wrong logic and wrong reasoning, then the result is also wrong. Okay, that is not teacher's fault. That is again your fault, because you following the wrong logic and then problem. This happened also. So anyway, like these kind of, I don't know what is, but we talk too much. There is one few questions to talk, but anyway, that's the way to search the reality, the truth. The science, like science, Science, I'm not really science, but as I understand a little bit how going to science, they research again and again, check, judge, many techniques, and then finally they decided there's no water on the moon. Right? They say on the moon, and the moments have no water, no river on the moon. But I can trust them very much because the logic is true. So okay, so now we're going to dedication prayers for the page 7 continuously.
son ande tamche zibanye tone nyebe dana banje Shergananje Parmo Trumba Sebans Nyandro Andro Ande Da Tusande Wa Gerza Chunye Samba Manjur Semje Thamje La Sanje Dhombe Jurgo Jampa Chutar Anchembanda Kundu Sambo Teya Devje Teda Gonji Jesus Dalo Gewa Dina Tamje Aramde Tu sa Shambe Yanjawa Tamje Anji Yakhanla Chunde Dage Angewe Sawa Andigo Anja Zambo Joshe Ramda Yango Chanje mencheni tenje save lama yancheni drove tonde mono kamda Damje Daje Andrempa Esho Shewa Yakundu Yanda Dharma Shunye Pela Lonjo Sana Lamye Dorje Changa Kumbha Anyer Here's something I want to tell you. I forgot what's the one. This class here in Bodhicitta Dharma Center, we going 2 sessions every day. Actually, will be coming. The other sessions, afternoon and morning. But I introduced to you in the morning. The afternoon classes I mentioned to you already. But we have the morning class coming in next week on Monday start. For 4 weeks, the morning class continuously for 4 weeks only. But the morning class is a little bit different than the afternoon this class, because the afternoon class is opening class for everybody. Have no any commitment, Only you need to once register, and that is forever, The morning class is not only that, but morning class is for little bit more traditional way, the teachings, because therefore you need to taking the upasaka vow. In Tibetan we say Gemyen vow, which means is taking the vow of the upasaka vow of refuge vow, which means you must be the Dharma practitioners or the traditioner of Buddhism in this life become. That is the morning class. The commitment meant is, if you have already refuge vows, it's perfect. Have not, but if you want to become Buddhist your life, and then I will give you refuge vows during the morning class, or maybe anyway sometimes I'm giving the upasaka vows. So therefore this person, if you like, you can join the morning class. But there on top is another aspect of the commitment, not only 1 day or 1 week, but you must be kept continuously 4 weeks. We start on the 17th of this October. Means next week. On this week coming of the Monday, continuously for 4 weeks. Exception Sunday is no class, but 2 hours morning 9 to 11. 2 hours 9 to 11. So this 2 hours every day. Exception Sunday is no class for during the 4 weeks. So this topic is teaching is we follow on the text, not only just talk on the mind, but talking on the focus on the text. This text is the title is we say the beacon of certainty, or torch of certainty, or light of certainty, something like lamp of certainty we can say, or they translated on this my text that says beacon of certainty. Main explanations. More deeper way of the emptiness, Madhyamika teachings, and about around of also what difference Sutra and Tantra, the view of something like this. So if you're interested, if you have time enough, 4 weeks, if you like, and then if you want to become real of the Buddhism traditions of your life, and then it's very welcome. The morning class we start on the Monday. But if you decided, then please contact to us, because we need to prepare the text English. But this teaching is we going to Tibetan to English with the translator. Okay, not I'm direct talk English. Maybe question answers. Maybe I'm talk on directly on English, but it's actually the main teaching is Tibetan to English. So somebody translation to English from my Tibetan language. That is the morning 4 weeks. Just I want to tell you, if in case. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow.